Why can't a woman be more like a man, wondered Professor Higgins in My Fair Lady. A man quite ahead of his time, I should think, considering the way stereotyped roles within families are being broken today. Public Diary met a family who have chosen to switch their roles. We meet two journalists and their 6-year-old and found out their solutions to basic problems.
Well, the society has certain norms, but one need not just stick by these norms. You have to make these adjustments to make your own home up and running. And none amount of society is going to make you run your own home.
Bye, Pallava. I'll be late.
Also, perhaps it's so built into one's education now that you don't have to look out for role models. You don't have to look out for conventional setups. So
It's a nuclear family, and neither are there servants nor are there grandmas. It's a vanishing breed. So you essentially have to manage everything on your own. Just that when you have a growing baby girl, you need to take care of her needs. We hit upon this very nice option of where I was working out of home, and it seemed to click.
I think 3 or 4 years when I worked from home, I was freelancing. And then now there's this time when Pallav's at home. So it's in some ways been a switch of roles.
See, my wife is a journalist, and she keeps very uncertain schedules. But thankfully it's flexible. So if you run into a problem somewhere, she can also pitch in and help out. I'm a journalist, so I work very hard on my stories. I still break as many stories. Or probably now I break even more stories, because once I start working out of home, I'm saving more than 2 or 3 hours of a day of commuting. आ जाना फिर जल्दी से, ठीक है? फिर खाना खाएंगे साथ. Soon she will be opening the door on her own. Or she already insists that I should be able to give me a key and I will open the door and come on my own. Chalo, home sweet home, darling.
There is a sense of guilt, but I'd like to explain that guilt. It's not so much to do with Pallav working out of home and working on things of the so-called homemaker's job. But the guilt has in the past been linked with not being able to spend enough time with my child.
ये तो लफड़ा हो गया भाई.
ओ,
तुमने उसमें लगा दिया बेबी?
मैंने नहीं लगाया, मम्मा ने लगाया है.
अच्छा, वो कपड़े में लगा दिया है?
It has very little to do with guilt related with Pallav doing certain things or the man doing certain things which the woman ought to do. Yes, there is a sense of guilt sometimes, but it's invariably overtaken by one's, your own creative desire, which is why one is in a certain job.
एक मिनट. दो और चाहिए? पानी भी पियो बेटा.
My mornings, in fact, are very, very cluttered. I still prefer to get up at 5:30 because that's one time I'm with my daughter. I take her to the bus stop in the mornings. And I certainly don't like to compromise on that. Being around for 24 hours and not being a satisfied person yourself is not such a big thing. That would work at cross purposes completely.
Year and a half I have been working, having Nayantara around when I'm continuing my work. Now the situation is such that when she's not around, it's very hard for me to work. Now get working, darling.
Alright.
Finish whatever little homework you have. मैं काम करता हूँ. ठीक है? Bye.
Bye.
I've just gotten used to her chatter in the background, which is really giving a pep to my work.
Sometimes I miss Mama when she has a deadline. First I think she'll come home on her time, but I forget. Then Papa tells me it's a deadline today, she cannot come.
My daughter doesn't show any inadequacy because I'm not at home. she's perfectly fine and normal. I mean, she's not unique or anything. She's just a normal child. And one finds that off and on in her little conversations, she's happy that she has a mother like me.
Yes. R O M. देख लिया? क्या बना रहे हो? In fact, it reflected in her school also. From being a slightly shy girl, she started behaving much more confidently. Just because, see, that sense of security comes in, and the child feels very secure. That yes, there is somebody at home all the time to take care. Is it right?
Yes.
It's different, obviously. You don't see so many. In fact, it's a rarity. But at the same time, I personally don't find any difference.
We're just normal people. We've learnt along the way. We're also very good friends, and we're, like I said, we're the best of friends. So it's just happiness to be together.
बस एक हफ्ते की बात है. You will be on your own. Huh?